So today I'm going to take a look at what happened after episode 50 of In the Days. I had completed episode 51 as far as a script. I did shoot a cover for it, which I can't find a picture of now, of course. But I never got around to filming that or any episodes after. So what I'm going to do is go over episode 51 and then go and discuss what was going to happen after that, what direction it was going to take, and how the Dio-story was going to end. So as an overview, this is essentially what I have. I have episode 51, which is going to be called Southbound, and that was roughly a page and a half. They usually went about 2 pages in that, so it's about average. After that, these were the ideas of what I wanted to have happen, and I'm going to go over them. And then the ending I had not completely fleshed out, but I had like 3/4 of a page of what I wanted to see happen with it. So I'll get into episode 51 now. So episode 51 follows the Dreadnoks and Shipwreck. They decide to head south, and we pick them up somewhere in Maryland. And there was a picture of a Maryland highway with the ROCC rolling down it, cars strewn about, disaster, all that type of thing. So the story picks up inside the vehicle. Buzzer says, before this, I wanted to set up one of those shacks and sell t-shirts and sneakers and jeans in Russia. Not long-term, just enough to make some fast cash. I talked to Ripper about it, and the two of us were going to try it over this summer. Zorana says, like a magazine stand? He says yes. They love anything New York there too. The black market may not welcome it, but who cares? The party scene in Russia is wild. Zayna says, what about the language barrier? You can't speak English. I mean, you can't speak Russian, and you can barely speak English, and Ripper's not much better. Buzzer says, I guess we would have gotten someone to translate. Man, we could have been eating steaks, and that would have been great. Shipwreck says, I need another beer. I don't even care that they're warm and skunky now. Zayna says, I gotta pee. Can we pull over? Zayna looks at Shipwreck. Why didn't they put a bathroom in this? If you Joes are so smart, huh? Shipwreck says, you got me on that one. I didn't build it. They pull over, and Monkey Wrench says, fortunately, we got woods all around us, so the world is your outhouse. Zayna, make it fast. Zayna says, yeah. She gets out and walks into the woods. As she's sitting down, a zombie reaches towards her, and she gets bitten. She screams. She kicks it in the head. The others run to her. What happened? She says, Shipwreck. She shows her arm. Zorana says, what? How? Zayna says, I don't know. Buzzer says, what the hell? Zayna sits. Zayna says, it hurts. She says, it feels like poison. It feels warm. Auntie, don't let this happen to me. She's talking to Zorana, who's her aunt. Zorana says, we're going to help you. Monkey Wrench says, there's only one way to help her. Zorana shouts, no. Monkey Wrench says, there is no other help. Think about it, woman. Zayna says, he's right. I feel cold and it hurts. Please help me. She starts coughing. Zorana says, I'm so sorry, child. I wish I could take it away. You know I would. She starts sobbing. Zayna says, tell Dad I love him. I didn't say it, but I love you for always looking out for me and being there for me when he wasn't. You were more of a parent than my own, and I never thanked you for that. She starts coughing again. Zorana says, all right. She's comforting her. Shh, you rest, just rest. She's sobbing. The others just look on. They don't know what to say. Monkey Wrench tells Zorana, why don't you go back to the truck? Buzzer and Shipwreck, he tells Buzzer and Shipwreck to take her. Zorana says on the day that Zaina was born, her mother was already a week late. We were at the house in Florida where her water broke. And there was no time to get her to the hospital, so we did what we had to do right there. Zartan was on the road, of course. It was just me, her mom, and Torch. None of us knew what we were doing. The baby came out blue with the umbilical cord wrapped around its neck. I didn't know what to think or do. She was so swollen. Torch cut the cord and patted her on the back, the only thing we could think to do. I needed to save her life. Seconds later, she started crying. A week later, her mother took off, and she couldn't handle having a baby. We never saw her again. Maybe Zartan caught up with her and saw that she stayed away. I don't know. Monkey Wrench says, guys, please take her. And they do. Buzzer and Shipwreck walk her off. And Monkey Wrench has a gun in his hand now, and he says to Zaina, I'm sorry. Zaina says, just do it. This is something you need to get out of your system. You've had that look. You have that look you had when Buzzer was down, and you thought he was going to turn. You want to pull the trigger, so get on with it. Monkey Wrench says, I'm sorry, I'm going to miss you. Zaina yells at him to do it. He pulls the trigger. The screen is black, and then you just see a big pop on the screen. Then the story ends. So yeah, that was going to be 51. And I was kind of ready to shoot it. I just never got around to it. And after that, I got out of collecting 1/18 and sold off all the figures and stuff. So I couldn't even do it now if I wanted to. Then the rest of the story kind of goes as such. Back in the desert, there's a big battle between the Joes and Serpentor's army, and Jim somehow gets a sword and cuts off Serpentor's head, and the Crimson Guards show up with guns drawn, and they're, you killed him, and Jim said, I did, this is over. One guard goes to fire on him, another one shoots that guard and says, no, he freed us. So now you have a battle between the Crimson Guards that were actual elite Cobra troopers and the ones that had been brought in as prisoners. So they start firing back and forth. Dodger says, let's get the hell out of here. This is a civil war. Jim to Mainframe, he says, do you still want the fortress? Mainframe says, I wanted revenge. Now that we got it, we can head for the coast. And they leave. There was, I don't see the part, but there was another part that Dr. Mindbender, just before this, had escaped, and the Joes put a tracking device on his plane, so they were following him to the East Coast, where he was going to meet up with Cobra Commander, and everybody was going to kind of start engaging on DC, so that all the characters would be getting to be closer together. Then on the road somewhere in Georgia, a light starts going off in the ROCC, and Buzzer says, what's this thing doing? Shipwreck saying it's picked up some kind of beacon. Zorana says, a beacon. Shipwreck says, yeah, it's a Joe homing signal. Someone wants to be found. We need to check it out. Monkey Wrench agrees. They follow to where Repeater has a survival set up, and it appears to be empty. Suddenly, the Joes that are there at the survival setup start to surround the Dreadnought group. And they wind up anyway. They wind up. They're going to have a battle. Shipwreck basically is liaison between the Dreadnoughts and the Joes, and he gets them to understand that they're there together. They have the same purpose. They're not enemies anymore, and they agree that they're gonna battle together, and they're gonna head back up to DC. And they do. They go back up to DC. There's a bunch of battles between Joes and Cobras. Gung Ho winds up getting mortally wounded. He's shot, and it turns out the guy that shot him is the Viper that originally had him prisoner in one of the prior episodes, and they recognize each other, and before he dies, he pulls a grenade and blows all of them up, and so he's dead. Then the very last scene would be Cobra Commander by this time has taken control of a bunch of different nations and their nukes, and the remaining Joes are in a firefight with him and Cobra troops inside a communication room. Repeater gets bit, he's infected, but he's still staying there and fighting. Cobra Commander's yelling that this is where we make our stand, the world is ours, Cobra. All the Cobra troops yell Cobra. They fire back and forth. I didn't have who, but some of the Joes go down, Cobras go down, and in the end it's Repeater and Cobra Commander. Repeater shoots Cobra Commander, Repeater's going to shoot him again. He starts I guess feeling the zombie virus taking effect. He starts falling down, and he's telling himself, hold on just a little bit longer, he can't turn yet. Cobra Commander gets back up and makes it over to a computer console, and he goes for the button to launch the nukes, and Repeater stops him. Cobra Commander, you can't win this war of attrition with me, not on this day. He hits the button, launching the nukes, and Repeater's, what was that, what did you do? And Cobra Commander tells him, for once it's something you can't undo. My televipers have linked enough of the world's nuclear missiles, and you're going to live just long enough to see the end. And Repeater says, why would you do that? Cobra Commander says, if he can't have the world, no one will. He spent his life trying to do this, and that he's been denied it for too long. Repeater grabs Cobra Commander. As Cobra Commander dies, Repeater looks at the monitors. It's all over, and he starts coughing. And there's supposed to be pictures of nukes launching: Russia, United States, Germany, England, and it's a picture from space showing the world just getting kind of ripped apart. And then the epilogue was going to be a scene in outer space of a ship, and on that ship was going to be Mindbender, Destro, a bunch of Iron Grenadiers, and they're talking about how that world is done, and they're going to trying to find a way to find a new home and to try to find another planet that they can survive on. But for now, they're all that's left of humanity, and that was kind of it. That's where it was going to end. I had it at about 75 episodes at the end. I had some other notes. I can't find them now, but I was happy with the way it was going to go. I liked the ending. Again, it was just something I'm never going to shoot, but I figured at least I can kind of wrap it up here and give myself and whoever cares to hear the ending some closure on that. But all in all, like I said, I'm very happy with it, and I appreciate everybody taking time to check it out. If you listened this far, thank you, and thanks for reading End of Days, and I hope, like I said, that gives you some closure with it. All right, catch you later.
If you enjoyed the video, please take the time to like and subscribe.